Hey, Ron here. And I kind of just want to talk about how much it pisses me off that you're having so many schools right now throwaway meals that children had. And there are some rational reasons to be very, very angry about that, but I just want to make it clear that this affects me on a gut level. It makes me mad. Okay, so if you don't follow the news as much as I do, and that's. I follow the news a lot. Like, I don't watch television, I don't watch movies, I follow the news. If you don't follow the news as much as I do, you might not be aware of news stories popping up about once a week saying that one or two or several different children got a lunch at their school, a hot lunch, one that the school made, and went to go eat it, only to have that meal pulled away from them and thrown away. There are a lot of reasons to be upset about this. Not just because it's a waste, although it clearly is a waste, and in more ways than one. You know, people need food to survive. I mean, I hope I don't have to explain this to people. People need food to survive in the world. You know, you don't eat, you die. If you don't get food, you die. Uh, there were um, there were African warlords back in the 90s who, like, the UN used the UN was trying to help with the problem of famine in Africa. But this famine was being deliberately exacerbated by African warlords withholding food from people in their countries. And there wasn't a whole lot to do. Hunger is something that can be used as a weapon of war. I'm not saying that withholding food from children, withholding one meal a day from children is an act of war, but like clearly it can be understood as being hostile to those children, and that's especially harmful when you understand why this is happening. The break where these children don't get their meals usually happens along class lines, which also typically means that it happens along racial lines because those things are so closely intertwined here in the US. So you're having people who are already being told, people who are in their developmental stages, who are already being told that they have less worth than the average person, um, being explicitly devalued. You know, if you need food to live and you're being denied food for no good reason, then that's like saying, like, these are meals that have already been cooked and prepared. You're literally throwing them away for no reason. It does no harm to anyone to let these children eat the fucking food. Throwing it away just says you are worth less than this meal. It is more. I value the ability. It's the school saying that they value the potential value that the food that these children would have eaten more than they value the well-being of the student. And you can't tell me that that does not create a hostile environment for these children. Which is something I understand firsthand. There were times when I couldn't eat as a child. I don't. The administration was the administration of the school that I went to was very hostile, not just to me, but to my family. And that had an effect on me that still resounds to this day. Like, one of the main reasons that I am an anarchist is because I got fucked by the system. Not my words, either. But, like, there's also a practical thing here. Okay, so children especially need nutrients in order to develop into healthy adults, right? I don't think that's something that's uh, controversial to say. And more than that, even, when children don't eat, when children are hungry, They become upset, and they act out more. They do worse on tests, and they're more disruptive. So, not providing meals to children literally harms the other students in the school. Not just in that it creates more disruptions, but because students are doing worse in school. And typically, these are the students that are already doing poorly. Switch knocked over some boards. Typically, these are the students that are already doing poorly that do more poorly. When that happens, you know that schools are graded by how well they do on these fucking tests and things. And the worse students do, the less funding that schools get. And the less funding that schools get, the less money they're able to spend on things like teachers' salaries, things like school supplies, things like lunches. It creates a really negative feedback loop. And I'm sure that there are people in these schools who know this, and yet it's still fucking happening. Like, this shit is peak neoliberalism. Right? Fucking... You have something that's already there, that's already fucking prepared. There's no reason to deny it to anyone, especially fucking children. And yet that's exactly what's happening, because it is mandated from upon high that a monetary transaction must take place. Not between the child and the school, but between the child's parents and the school. Right? You're punishing children because their parents are in a financially difficult position. And that's, the people in a financially difficult position include most fucking people in this country. Makes me mad. Makes me mad. So I was reading earlier about how the Trump administration plans on mandating rolling back free lunch programs, and makes me mad. It makes me mad. Like most things that Trump does. What can you do about it? A lot of school boards are... they're not easy. They're not difficult positions to get elected into. In fact, I would be willing to bet money that if a person were to run for most school boards, specifically on a platform of, I will protect the right of children to eat during lunch, they'd get hella elected. They'd win in fucking landslides. So this is an opportunity where you can very specifically and very deliberately take an action. Or you can find someone who has a similar platform to that and support them. I'm going to be looking for that here in Springfield, because this pisses me off. Fucking... Why would you deny children food that's already fucking there? For money? For fucking $1.20? That's disgusting. Yeah, I still have a fucking Ko-Fi and a fucking Curious Cat if you want to ask me questions or give me money. Yeah, no, actually, fucking... Find a kid who wasn't able to eat in school today and pay for them to have lunch. Instead of donating me money for this video, go find a kid and give him something to eat. Give them something to eat. Because that's much more helpful than sending me money. Just makes me mad. Makes me mad. And it makes it all the more important, you know, that we take care of each other. The world needs to be better than this. So yeah. I guess until we get to a better world, take care of yourselves, alright? And take care of the kids, too.